I just want to start this video out with a bit of a disclaimer. I'm not a therapist or a psychiatrist or anything like that, and this video is not telling you to or not to get help from someone like that. That is 100% up to you. This video is just me sharing a bit of my story and what's worked for me, with the hopes that it might help someone else. I imagine most people have a few things they don't like about themselves, but some of us just don't like almost everything about ourselves. But we often don't start out that way. It's usually because of how we were consistently treated poorly early on in our lives, and it began to stick. For me, this was bullying that started in the first few years of elementary school and happened off and on until high school. I eventually became callous to it, and it stopped bothering me, but even though it wasn't directly hurting me anymore, it still stuck with me in some ways and affected how I thought about things. I'm sure some of you can relate, and if you haven't thought about it, it's probably a good idea to think about where the problem started and how it's evolved over time. And I actually hadn't thought about this much until very recently. I was thinking about what to talk about in the video for this week, and as I was going through some ideas I've had, it just kind of hit me. I haven't really been struggling with hating myself much at all recently, and my thoughts have been much more positive. And that's in spite of the fact that I've dealt with a lot of loss over the past couple of years, but that story is probably for another time. But after realizing that, I began to think why my mental state is so much better. And I could really only think of one thing: how much more I've been pushing myself in my work and in the gym. I'm putting in those extra hours even when I really don't want to, and if I don't wake up in the morning to go to the gym, I go at night instead, even if I'm there past midnight, and that's usually after making a video for this channel as well. I always had a part of myself telling me that I was lazy and never do enough. It's been a lot quieter recently, as I said, but I think it was right, and I think that's the best way to attack these things that we don't like about ourselves, to prove them wrong with our actions. If you think you're lazy like I did, then find a way to put in more work and exercise. If you think you're dumb, then study harder than you ever have, or maybe try to learn a new skill. If you think you're socially awkward or anxious, try talking to people more. It doesn't have to be anything big to start out. Maybe just say an extra sentence or two to the cashier when you go to the store. And that's the case with all of these. It's okay to start small, just don't stay small. Continue to try to improve each day, and before you know it, you might even like that part of yourself. And if you fail and go back to your old ways for a day, a week, or even longer, it's okay. Just get back on track as soon as you can. Ending up back at square one is okay, but staying there forever isn't. And I know I said I'm up late a lot because of this, but you don't have to miss out on rest. Regardless of things like this, my sleep has never been very good. It's definitely something I need to work on. But even while pushing myself to do more, I'm still able to get at least 20 to 30 hours of gaming in each week. I'm not saying just give up everything you think is fun and just grind. You can still make progress and still have plenty of time for fun. And I think working on your weaknesses like this is also a great way to stop worrying about what others think about you, because you've admitted to those weaknesses and are actively trying to make them better, so there isn't really much they can say that would bother you. I feel like since I'm much more content with myself, I'm much more likely to respond kindly than I was before, even in response to something negative. But yeah, I think that's all I have for this one. I hope this helps some of you that have struggled with something similar. And as always, I hope you guys have an awesome and productive rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.